Ready? Okay. Good morning, Kahal Kadosh. Wednesday, the 27th day of Av, Menachem Av rather, corresponding to the 28th of, yes, I have both, the 28th of August. The Lighthouse Torah Project לעילוי נשמת דבורה פייגה בת שמואל, אורה דבורה בת שמואל, לאה בת יוסף and Esther רבקה בת אברהם, as well as רפואה שלם of מנחם מנדל בן שרה basha and Hannah bat Shani. The iTorah.com live audio recording dedicated for the שידוכים of נחמדינה בת חנבתיה, אליהו חיים בן אסתר, רחל פנינה בת ג'ני, and Sarah Simcha bat Sophie. Today, good morning. Today is the yortzeit of two great Talmidei Chachamim. One of them, Chacham Ishaq Shebar from Argentina, which I spoke about him inside. One great Talmid Chacham who really shaped and formed and guided the Syrian Sephardi community in Argentina for over 40 years, I believe, and developed an unbelievable amount of Torah and community life between the parameters and perimeters of Torah, Mitzvot, and Irat Shamayim. And also today is the yortzeit of a great Mekubal by the name of Rabbi Yehuda Petaya, Alav Shalom. Rabbi Yehuda Petaya, and I said Mekubal with a capital K because he was one of the Hachamim after the time of the Ben Ish Hai that was considered the elite of the Mekubalim. This great Hacham passed away in Eretz Israel, going back maybe 60, 70 years. And interesting enough, he's buried a few feet away from my father in Har HaZatim, Alav Shalom. So whenever I go visit my father in Har HaZatim, I'll pay a visit to the great Hacham that was one of the most famous students of the Ben Ish Hai, Zechutam Yagen Alenu. And we speak about Tzaddikim because, you know, I'll tell you a small anecdote from Hacham Shebar. He wrote a letter to the community going back maybe 40 years ago, give or take, especially to the ladies of the community, in how to come dress to the synagogue, especially for Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. We need to understand, in South America, the concept of Eruv, like it exists in the United States, it doesn't really exist. And if it exists, it's in a very limited fashion. Recently, I heard that they started to make an Eruv, I think, in Mexico City, in Brazil. Argentina, I don't believe that it has, unless it's a private complex. So the concept of ladies coming to the synagogue on a regular basis, like it happens in Miami or in New York, it wasn't the common practice back then. But nevertheless, the rabbi took advantage of the days that ladies did come to the synagogue, especially Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, to remind them, number one, you're coming to the house of Hashem, a place of sanctity, a place of Kedusha, a place of holiness. So therefore, this is part of the proper decorum that a person needs to have when they come to the synagogue. Same thing with men. Not because it's a man, the laws of modesty and respect don't apply for both genders. But we know that the topic of nisayon in the dress code perhaps is a greater nisayon in the ladies department. So back then the great rabbi used to educate the community of understanding that coming to the house of Hashem, it's a going to the palace of the king. This was one thing that I saw in writing. Another case, in the olden days, today, Baruch Hashem, things are a bit different. You know, we really don't encourage people to do weddings on Mosai Shabbat. There is halachic challenges doing weddings on Mosai Shabbat, especially during the summer, that Shabbat is late, and how much time do you need to prepare after Shabbat? So in the olden days, going back, I was a child, so let's go back 50 years ago, okay? 50 years ago, that the Sephardi community in those days was on a growing stage, literally in a growing spiritual stage. Today, Baruch Hashem, and I'm saying this with pride, that any place, especially in this part of the world, if you go to Mexico, Panama, Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela, these are places, Colombia, I believe as well, Chile, these are places that a person can travel any day of the week. You can land and you don't have to worry about kosher food. You don't have to worry about finding a minyan. You don't have to worry about finding a mikveh. As I said inside, today Argentina has 30 kolelim. And of the 30 kolelim, over 20 are Syrian Sephardic. Do you understand? Mexico is not behind. Brazil is not behind. Panama is not behind. Even Colombia, right? Right? They recently opened, not long ago, a beautiful Sephardic kollel with 5 families. Unbelievable. So the words of Torah are being spread in the 4 corners of the world. Even in our synagogue, Baruch Hashem, there is Torah learning. Not enough. But Be'ezat Hashem, this coming Monday, we're opening up the Ezra Franco Sephardic Kollel. The Rosh Kollel is moving from Chicago. The young rabbinical students are already here. So Be'ezat Hashem, we're going to have a beautiful Kollel, Sephardic Kollel, Halacha, etc., for the benefit of the Kahal. And no doubt that the more Torah a community has, and I did not even speak about Canada and Brooklyn and Deal, which are different, mega communities, Los Angeles as well. I'm talking about from Mexico down the map, because I think that is important for the Kahal to understand that the only secret of survival that Am Israel had and has in order to survive the nisyonot that we have as a nation is being connected to the Torah and being connected to the Hachamim, as we learn on Sunday from Perashat Ekev. The pasuk says, Uldovka bo. So I remember as a child that the Rabbi, Alav Shalom, Hacham Shchebar, used to send many young men from the community. Among them was my father, my uncle, good friends of the family. And what was the mission? Our mission was, their mission, not mine, I was a kid. But their mission was, go spend Shabbat in the hotel and make sure that the caterer does not do any preparations during Shabbat. This was the fear. Besides making sure all the kosher aspect of it, and that's the reason why the halacha is not in favor in doing weddings on Mosa'eh Shabbat. For this reason. Because regretfully, and I remember the rabbi will speak to the ladies as well, don't go to the hairdresser on Saturday afternoon. 50 years ago, and we have many, important members of the Syrian community from Argentina here present, from Yeshurun and Lavalle and Sukkot David and all these mega Syrian Sephardic synagogues in Buenos Aires, that they know that in those days, those were some of the growing challenges that the Sephardic community needed to overcome. Today, most weddings, to my knowledge, are not taking place on Mosa'eh Shabbat. The opposite. People understood, people understand, they're doing it on Sunday, they're doing Sunday afternoon, midweek, etc. But this is not a miracle that happened overnight. This was something that took a tremendous amount of mesirut nefesh from all of the hachamim involved in the development of Judaism, of true Torah Judaism in South America. At the end of the day, we cannot forget the fact that Argentina alone today, I think it has over 250,000 Yehudim. Before they had 500,000. Many of them were Holocaust survivors that no longer among the living. Many of them were made aliyah to Israel, and many of them regretfully, with all the goodness, unfortunately succumbed to the challenge of assimilation as well. Definitely, I think that the world today, as the great Hachamim from Israel say, today one of the biggest threats that is affecting Judaism is the unfortunate topic of assimilation. So how do we fight assimilation? Only through Torah. Torah is the antidote of assimilation. Getting close to the community is the antidote to assimilation. Getting close to the Hachamim. And I'm not telling for me. I'm not looking for new customers. Baruch Hashem, I got plenty. Okay? But I'm saying wherever you are, I know some of you are watching from Brooklyn, from Denmark, from Germany, from Vietnam, from Singapore, I don't know from where. Okay? Wherever you are in the world, find your niche, find your community, find your rabbi. Surround yourself of good, healthy, holy, good influences in life. Because at the end of the day, this is the oxygen that we need as a community in order to survive the challenges that the Jewish people experiences today. And guess what? No one can say, I'm safe. No one can say, I don't need it. I can handle it. Believe me, greater people said that, and regretfully today, there is no memory of their existence in the world. And that's why the Mishnah writes, Aseh lecha rav, ukne lecha haver. Right? The Mishnah is telling us. The Mishnah says, buy yourself a friend. Make yourself a rabbi. Why? Because when a person is connected to a rabbi, and I said this in the past, many times I get all kinds of questions. Some of them are, what time is Minhan Arvit? Which is not a big deal. But there are sometimes questions which are much more critical, much more complicated. And my first question is, who is your rabbi? And after they answer me, I ask them, did you ask your rabbi? I want to hear your opinion. I'm not here to give opinions on something that is critical from halakha perspective and something that maybe my answer is not for you. Maybe my answer could be too strict for you or too lenient. So why should I? And that's what the Mishnah says. Aseh lecha rav. Make yourself a rabbi. Baruch אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. So, I speak often about Hachamim. Whenever we come across certain Hachamim, great Hachamim, that we learn from, and we drank from their water. And the reason is because we cannot forget the fact that the road is paved for us today, but that was thanks to the effort done 50 years ago, or in some cases, 100 years ago. תהיה נשמתה סרורה בשרור החיים, may these neshamot be elevated in Gan Eden, which I'm sure they are, and Be'ezat Hashem, they continue vouching for each and every one of us, and Am Israel, Amen. Okay, so we continue today with the topic that we have been talking about for the past few days, and today the Zohar HaKadosh discusses an interesting topic. Let me just rearrange the machinery here for a second. So if I move, I don't break anything down. Haz v'shalom. Amen. So today, I'd like to begin with the introduction of the Zohar, which, interesting enough, happens to be the introduction of the Tanya. I'm sure you heard of the book The Tanya, written by the Balatanya, alav shalom, the one who wrote the Shulchan Aruch Harav, etc. The Tanya book, Likutei Amarim, it's also known as Sefer Shel Benonim, the book of the middle of the road. That means a book that is suitable for everyone. And the Tanya begins with the introduction of the Zohar of today, that actually comes from Gemara in Nida. And it says the Gemara in Nida, Tanya, mashbi'in oto, tehi saddik, ve'al tehi rasha. Explanation of this sentence, or translation please, first. Mashbi'in oto, the person swears before coming down into the world, tehi saddik, be a righteous person, vehal tehi rasha, and don't be the opposite. The Zohar explains, and let me go a step back. The neshama of the person, prior to being born, the neshama learns Torah. Check out Gemara Nida, I think pages 29, 30, 31. Those 3 pages, they speak a lot about pregnancy and what happens during pregnancy, including the topic of birth. And the Gemara writes, during the 9 months of pregnancy, the neshama learns Torah. And there is no, that's what the Gemara writes, there is no greatest time for the neshama like the learning of Torah for 9 months without breaks. Maybe they have a break, an hour a day, I don't know. I don't have the schedule. But the Gemara says there are no better time in the life of a person like the 9 months of pregnancy, that the person learns Torah prior to coming down into the world. So the Zohar HaKadosh writes that before the neshama is born, mashbi'in et ha-neshama. The neshama checks into HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now I'm sending you to the world. What's your mission in the world? My mission in the world, as the Baal Shem Tov says, is to bring godliness into the world. That's the purpose of a Jew. And that's why further down in the Tanya says, Nit'ava, liot lo dirato idbarach betachtonim. Borei Olam has a desire to dwell in the physical world. And you may ask, why? This is only from the introduction of today's Zohar. Why? Because godliness can truly be revealed in the physical world. Of course, there is godliness in the heavens. But Moshe Rabbeinu said it, Lo b'shamayim hi. The Torah was not created to stay in the heavens. Belo me'ever layam hi. And the Torah is not on the other side of the ocean. But what Moshe Rabbeinu says, Ki karov elecha hadavar me'od, beficha ubilbabecha la'asoto. The Torah is attainable to everyone. The Torah is accessible for everyone. There are many explanations on these pesukim, which this final pasuk is also quoted in the beginning of the Tanya, in the introduction to the Tanya as well. But basically, what the Zohar HaKadosh is trying to say is that every Yehudi has the potential of becoming an ambassador to Borei Olam. That's the reason why, in the way that a Yehudi behaves, in a way that a Jew behaves, it is a much more demanding type of behavior than the way that the Goim behave. Everybody needs to be nice. and everybody needs to be respectful. But let's be honest, the laws of Lashon Hara are only applicable in Judaism. Because if the world will take upon themselves the prohibition of Lashon Hara, say goodbye to the internet, say goodbye to YouTube, say goodbye to Facebook, say goodbye to the radio stations, TV channels, movies, newspapers, and magazines. Why? Because we know very well what sells. Not Lashon HaTov, Lashon Hara. That's what sells. That's part of the strategy of the Yetzer Hara. But Yehudim have a double mission. Number one, doing Kiddush Hashem, sanctifying Hashem's name throughout our behavior, and avoiding Hilul Hashem, and avoiding, God forbid, the desecration of Hashem's name. That's why a Yehudi is, as I said before, is an ambassador to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when a Yehudi becomes an ambassador of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or how do you become an ambassador of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? I'll tell you the following. In the world of politics, if you want to become an ambassador, let me know. And let me know to which country do you want to become. And I'll connect you with someone in the world of politics. And based on your contribution to the presidential election, right? I think that there are some side effects or some benefits concerning contribution. I hope that what I'm saying is accurate, but I read this many years back. I'm not sure if today this is active or not, but what is an ambassador at the end of the day? For example, America today has a wonderful, wonderful Jewish ambassador for the United States in Jerusalem, which is very good. Why? He's a Yehudi, it's pro-Israel, and is doing things for the well-being of the Jewish people. But that is in the world of politics and safety. But guess what? We don't have to live in an embassy to be an ambassador of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are ambassadors and representatives of HaKadosh Baruch Hu even on the street. When we drive, when we walk, when we talk, the way we dress, the way we conduct ourselves in business. As Shlomo HaMelech says, Bechol derachecha da'ehu. In every step of the person's life, there is room for godliness, especially in the world of business, especially in our interaction, not only ben adam lamakom, not only in our contacts and relationship with Hashem, but also ben adam la havero. The Zohar Kadosh continues and it says the concept of the person living through life. And here the Zohar talks about Tselem Elokim. Tselem Elokim in English means the image of God in the person's life. When we talk about image, we're not talking about a physical image, because we know that Hashem is not physical. But the Tselem Elokim, in a way the Zohar says, refers to the neshama of the person. The Zohar says elsewhere that when it comes to be born, the neshama refuses to come down. The neshama says, why should I go down to the physical world? A world of difficulties, of challenges, of hardship, of temptations. Let me stay where I am. But we know very well that even though this is the feeling of the neshama, and we need to understand the feeling of the neshama. Allow me to illustrate this in the following example. Let's talk about a moment about the topic of shidduchim. The topic of shidduchim, it's a parasha by itself. In America, they say, are you in the parsha? Usually when they say that, it means parashat shidduchim. Yani, are you out of the freezer? Are you on display? Are you ready to date? And one of the things that I hear all the time concerning shidduchim, boys, girls, etc., is I like to go back to my country. I'm going out with this girl, but she needs to know that I'm staying in Miami. I'm not moving. I'm not going to the south. I'm not going to the north. And many times, the girls say, thank you so much. It's not for me. I must stay in Brooklyn. I must stay in Mexico. It happened to you? Hazaku Baruch. It happens to my kids also. Okay? No, we're staying in Brooklyn. We're staying in Florida, whatever that case may be. But this is on the physical aspect. But when it comes to the neshama from above is sent with a job description, is sent with a mission. And it's not mission impossible. And the tape is going to auto-destruct after 5 seconds. Has v'shalom. It comes with a mission of sanctifying Hashem's name into the world. You know, I read once, what's the meaning of a person coming down into the world? And he said something very cute. The day that a person is born is the day that Borei Olam says to the person, I need you in the world. I need you in the world. Meaning to say, you have a mission. I have a mission. And guess what? We have a collective mission and we have a personalized mission. Personalized mission comes now, the next topic, which is not the topic of today, the topic of marriage. Now we need a team to you. You need to have a bodyguard. You need to have, the Zohar says, the Tselem Elokim, the image of God that becomes the mirror image of your neshama. And this is not new, what I'm saying now. This is not new, what I'm saying now. But this is something that the Zohar says, don't forget who we are. So someone just asked, how does one find his mission? So I give you the mission statement. Ani lo nivreti ella leshamesh et koni. I have many missions in my life. One is my universal mission as a Jew. Serve Hashem. Bring godliness into the world. That is the collective mission that we have. This is the whole idea of Teshuvah. This is the whole idea of Gilgulim. We're not even talking about Gilgulim today. We spoke about it in the time of Rabbeinu Ari. We're not here to discuss Gilgulim today. That's a very deep and difficult topic to speak. We can only say whatever it's written, and that's with a limited availability. But our mission is, be all you can be. We are soldiers in the army of Hashem. I know that I gave you the slogan of the U.S. Army, be all you can be. It's actually a Torah concept. Yaseu kol sivot Hashem me'eres Misraim. We are called the army of Hashem. And each soldier in the army has a different mission, has a different description. But guess what? All of them swear allegiance to the army that they are soldiers of. In other words, you can be a businessman, I can be a rabbi, he can be a professor, and he can be an investor. All that is the personalized description of what are we doing in our life. But guess what? Like you have the need of praying, I have the need of praying, he has the need of praying, and he has the need of, even him, the Kohen Gadol to my left. Okay? In other words, we all have collective responsibilities as Yehudim. Be proper, be honest, be respectful, have derech eretz, learn Torah, eat kasher, all the mitzvot of the Torah. But the Zohar says another additional concept. It says that the person has, and it says here a very short and powerful sentence that I mentioned the pasuk related to this, and it says, taking advantage of life. Meaning to say, a person needs to try to make a productive life. What does it mean? We all live physically, whatever amount of years Borei Olam gives the person. The person needs to ask themselves, okay, what did I do with my life? What is my investment in life? And let's clarify one thing. The question that I'm asking, or the Zohar is asking, is not about financial investment. Maybe you invested very well. You bought Amazon when they used to ship only books, and you bought 100 stocks, and now it's worth X amount. Or you bought Apple when Apple was the name of a fruit, and now became very powerful. That's not what the Zohar is referring to. But what did the person do for the spiritual life? How much investment, that's the key word. How much investment we invested to make our life meaningful, to live a meaningful life. And I clarify, and God forbid, a million times, we're not minimizing family, we're not minimizing friends and relationship, but now we're talking about you and your love. Your love, obviously your wife, but there is someone that is connected to both of you. And this is the Tselem Elokim, the image of Hashem in the person's life, aka Neshama. The battery of our life is our Neshama. And why did I brought marriage into the equation? Because marriage, it's a required step, at least in the first round of marriage, okay? It's a required step for the clarity of the neshama. And that's why the Gemara says that a person that is married is able to achieve life, light, blessing, goodness, and all the beautiful berachot. And I know that sometimes people, don't find the shidduchim. People that try, people that go out, and it doesn't work. But one thing in the topic of shidduchim, besides the basic element of ishtadlut, right? A person needs to make an effort, okay? But there is interesting concept, that the concept of shidduchim, besides effort, to whatever extent, is the power of tefillah. Why? Why? Yes, tefillah is for everything. True, we agree. But we need to remember that shidduchim is one of the areas that Hashem, God, bichbodo ve'asmo, manages. Many things Borei Olam delegates. But there are certain things, the Gemara writes, that Borei Olam, He Himself makes the decision. Parnasa is one of them. That includes rain as well. Additionally, pregnancy. It's also something determined by Hashem. And that includes marriage. And Tehiyat HaMetim. Those are the Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit. Those are the few things that the Gemara writes. Shelosha Maftehot. The keys to these matters, Borei Olam says, I handle them. And that's why when a couple is married and regretfully they are not conceiving, one of the key requirements that is necessary to have is tefillah. To pray that HaKadosh Baruch Hu blesses the relationship. The Gemara writes, Rov Nashim beheskat akarot. The majority of the ladies by nature perhaps don't get pregnant. But Borei Olam puts a GPS into the zera of the men with the opposite of the wife, and then you have the happy ending of a child. And like this, also the shidduchim. And the Zohar Kadosh says, the younger the person is, and here the Zohar didn't say younger in the concept of age, but the Zohar says, be'odo bari begufo. As long that the body of the person is functioning in a healthy way. Like we discussed the concept of sechar, Hashem benefiting the person for the mitzvot. We know for sure. There is a Gemara that says, lefum sa'ara agra. According to the effort, according to the hardship, Hashem compensates the person. Meaning to say, 10 people came to shul to pray, but 2 of them came with a cane, and another fellow came with a knee holder, and another fellow came with crutches. With crutches? Crutches, yeah, not scratches, crutches, without the S. Crutches, correct. And another fellow came walking 10 minutes. And another fellow drove 3 blocks and valet parking. Okay? All of them did the same mitzvah of praying. But the effort that each one endured in order to be able to come to pray, this is something that is between the person and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Perhaps you remember, and I'm telling you this now because I saw this wonderful rabbi when I was in Brazil a few months ago. The rabbi that, due to his physical limitations and handicap, etc., how many hours it takes him to get ready to come to shul? 4 hours. 4 hours to get ready to come to shul with a wheelchair. And regretfully, is blind as well. Can you imagine? Not imagine. But I tell you a story. There was a group of students who wanted to give a financial gift to the rabbi. And they knew that the rabbi will not accept such a beautiful, generous gift. Relax, I'm not talking about me, okay? Relax, relax. Talking about a great rabbi. I don't want to say the name because I'm not sure if it was with him. And the students started to think, what can we do? So the rabbi has a nice gift for the holiday. They said, you know what? We're going to do the following. We're going to monitor what time of the day the rabbi leaves the home to come to the synagogue. And we're going to drop cash on the floor. So when the rabbi is walking from his home to the synagogue, for sure he's going to see money on the street. And if you find money on the street in an envelope without any kind of identity, halachically, you can pick it up and keep it to yourself. Doesn't have any siman. So they said, okay, what time the rabbi leaves the home? 6 o'clock in the morning. Beautiful. So we're going to come to the street like 5:45. We're going to, that usually nobody was on the street, only Jewish people going to the shul. And they drop, let's say, for American sake, $500 on the floor. And they are standing in the corner watching how the rabbi leaves his home, and now he's approaching the area where the cash was on the floor. Say, ooh, almost there. 10 steps, 9 steps, 5 steps. Then they see that the rabbi is walking next to the money and literally is overlooking the money, is ignoring the money. Bottom line, the students couldn't believe it. And then they went to see the rabbi and they asked, did you see? So what the rabbi says, today, he said, I decided to feel how a blind person feels. So I closed my eyes from the moment that I left my home until the moment that I walked into the synagogue. So when I say, okay, to say, thank you, to say the beracha of Pokeya Hivrim with Kavana, which is basically Hashem opens the eyes of the blind. He's telling us, well, Rabbi Abraham ibn Ezra, I heard it in a different rabbi, but maybe, but the message is, the message, right, okay, but, Mehila, pardon. The message is the same. Doesn't matter the name of the rabbi. The message is that the rabbi was poor. We agree. That's why the students wanted to help him. But that day he decided to play as a blind person. Now, he asked before the mission of the person. So I'll tell you one more additional thing that I mentioned, and I should have said this before, but I'm going to supplement the statement that we have a collective mission, but then we have a personalized mission. And to answer what is your personalized mission, I don't think that no one can truly answer that but the person themselves. And there are two ways of looking at it. What's more difficult to do? And what do you have an inclination to do? You follow me? I'm going now to two extremes. What is the most difficult thing to do for me? Whatever that may be. For one person will be waking up early in the morning. For another person, the tikkun, right. A person could be staying to learn Torah after prayers for a few minutes. Another person could be to exercise self-control. Whatever that means, that is on a challenging perspective. On the other hand, what are your talents? I turned the head before, I think I saw the word talent somewhere. Excellent point. Okay? What is the... It's fine. Okay, thank you. Beautiful. What is your talent? Which is actually, I need to tell you this, is actually a pasuk. The pasuk says, Kabed et Hashem mehoncha. Honor God from your wealth. What does it mean, your wealth? Your talent is your wealth. I cannot be you, and you cannot be me. I need to be myself, and you need to be yourself. Yes, we share a lot of things. Torah, mitzvot, ma'asim tovim, synagogue, beautiful. That is only one part of the equation. Then I have my own wealth. What is my wealth? And let's clarify. The wealth that the pasuk is referring to can be explained in many ways. Let's talk about financial wealth. Zekeli ve'anvehu. There is a pasuk in the parasha, in the Shira of Az Yashir, and Rashi brings it down, the concept of beautifying mitzvot. You make a mitzvah in a beautiful way. You buy a nice talet, a nice tefillin, a nice lulav, a nice synagogue, a nice yeshiva, a nice kollel, a nice mikveh. All these beautiful things that we do for Avodat Hashem, they go under the banner of I'm glorifying Hashem. I'm coronating Hashem as a king. I'm adorning Hashem through the mitzvot that I do. That is one way. But there is a different type of wealth that has nothing to do with money. It has to do with the God-given talents that a person has. For example, you have a beautiful voice. I'm not talking about a speaker. I'm talking about a hazan. For example, you have skills in your writing. You write, you become a sofer. You are eloquent. You become a speaker. You love to teach. You become a teacher. you like to do things for others, you become a community leader or a committee member. And you roll up your sleeves and help and assist according to the talents that you have. There are people, for example, and we know this and it's beautiful. You know, the rainbow has 7 colors. Shiftei Israel, the tribes of Israel, have 12 colors. The Mishkan was a multi-colorful building, which I'm not sure if we can say it building because it wasn't connected to the ground until the Bet HaMikdash. But if you ever look in Sefer Shemot, the multicolor fabrics and items that existed in the Bet HaMikdash, it shows a lot of variety. Same thing with the personality of the person. Maybe you are good in organizing programs. Maybe he is good in fundraising. Maybe he is good in attracting people. Maybe he is good in putting together events. These are the God-given talents that a person has. And if we make the effort, Be'ezat Hashem, to develop all the good things that Borei Olam gave us, and we need to understand one thing. If Borei Olam gave us these talents, whatever it may be, some people may be multi-talented. Some people can do all of the above. And there are people that can do one of the above. But it doesn't matter. We need to understand that a God-given talent to the person means that Hashem believes in us. Do you understand that? That's 50% of the solution. But then we need to do our part. We need to believe in ourselves. And be careful, because there is somebody that always is going to jeopardize any good deed or any good action that a person is trying to do. I don't say this. This is known as the Yeser Hara, number one. But if you remember, the Shulchan Aruch, especially the Rama, writes, Be'al yevosh mipenei hamal'igim. Don't be embarrassed for those that mock you. What's the meaning of mock you? Make fun of you. In other words, you want to do something, and then they telling you, no. And regretfully, in history, we have had this type of situations. Even in the Jewish world, one of the blessings established in the Amidah is what? Laminim v'lamalshinim. What's the meaning of this blessing? This blessing was established against those who turn against the Jewish people. But let's clarify. The blessing, I'm not sure that it was 100%, how do I say this? Directly for the enemies of the Jewish people. But it was actually about the group of Jewish people that had ideals that they wanted to, God forbid, shake and destroy the foundation of godliness in Am Israel. Regretfully, and I have to say this is one of the biggest challenges that we are experiencing today, if it's in Israel, God forbid, or if it's in America. Same challenges, different movements trying to weaken the foundation of sanctity and holiness. So therefore, it is imperative that everyone checks their gear, gets ready to serve Hashem, to be a good soldier in the army of Borei Olam. And one thing, that a person must always pray for siyata dishmaya. A person must always pray for heavenly assistance, especially when it comes to the topic of spiritual well-being and spiritual survival. If this is, Be'ezat Hashem, we have the opportunity, and it's never too late, obviously, as the Zohar HaKadosh said a few moments ago, But as long as we understand what is our mission, and we internalize this mission in our mind, in our set, in who we are, slowly but surely, we are going to see positive changes and positive improvements in our life at all levels. And then we're going to fulfill the pasuk that says, Israel asher becha et pa'ar. It says God takes pride of the Jewish people. Like now, what do you think Hashem is doing at this moment? He's celebrating with us that we stayed almost 51 minutes since the moment I started the class, and some of you may have been here from before the other class, learning and listening Torah. People in their home, in their office, watching and listening to the Torah class. Guess what? All these things, they drew a smile in the face of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And as long as we are able to keep the smile in the proper shape, Be'ezat Hashem, only good things will come to all of Am Israel.
Where does it say that Hashem will take pride in the Jewish people?
Is a pasuk in the Aventura. Israel asher becha et par. I'll give you the source after Kaddish. Okay, my good friends? Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you a bit later. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך, הרבה להם תורה מזוות שנאמר, אדוני חפש למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר. קדיש. אמין. אמן. אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך. אמן. יהי לנו. אמין. ולבא ויצא לנו. אמין. אמין.